Currently the lighting in my container workshop is terrible, so let's change that.
The lighting is a single LED light strip which fails to light up my workshop effectively. So here's my plan. I have a 40-foot shipping container. At the end, here's my office. This is where I edit and things I don't want to get dirty from like sawdust and whatnot. Moving on to the front of the container and thus beginning of my workshop, this is also where the lights begin. I'll just zigzag the lights across the roof in series. I started applying the lights to the roof, but it turns out the cheap Chinese lights I got don't have the best double-sided tape. So I decided to use the double-sided tape designed for mirrors instead. It should cope better with the weight of the wire a lot more. Then I soldered the next light strip in. I taped the connecting wires on the wall and then ran the rest of the light. It's not a pretty solution, but it's temporary. I'll eventually build internal walls in this whole container. And I think that's already a substantial improvement. Unfortunately, some lights fell. It turns out I wasn't given the tape's adhesive enough time to bond. I did that, I gave it some additional support, and that seemed to solve the problem. This is for the next row of lights.
I just realised the spacing on these hooks isn't even, so I've changed my methodology.
So the first two hooks were evenly spaced out at 3 corrugations, but the next one was 4. I thought they were consistent, they're not, so now I'm basing off the roof's corrugation instead of the hooks, so now it will definitely be even. With that out the way, I put up the tape for the rest of the lights. Now I could cut all my light strips and connection wire down to size, ready for soldering. I taped everything down with masking tape to hold it in while I soldered, and a multimeter to check the polarity of the wires because I couldn't find any marking on this stuff, which was rather annoying. So I began the installation of the rest of the lights, detangled the rat's nest I had created, then it was a simple matter of rinse and repeat. And a quick test, they do flicker a little bit as the wires are literally jammed in a dual battery. Seeing as the old light system's being retired, I took its switch and its clip for my dual battery. These lights are only intended as temporary, but they make a huge transformation to the functionality of this place. Ultimately, I will be lining it and putting in a proper solution, but for now, that's it. Thanks for watching.